right, guys, welcome to day 3 of the Power and Spin Challenge. It's been so fun. Day 1, we gave you 10 more miles an hour on your serve. Day 2, we gave you 500 more RPMs on your forehand. And today, we're gonna bulletproof your backhand, giving you perfect technique on the one-hand topspin, the two-hand topspin, and the one-hand slice. So let's dive right in. All right, so welcome back to day 3. Now remember, we're giving you the best in technique and technology. Before we hit the court with the lesson, let's get into the technology part. So right here on day 3, we've got a Babolat Pure Drive. And again, I think that this is another racket that you're gonna really enjoy for easy, comfortable power. And I first remember the Pure Drive from Andy Roddick, and I've always admired this racket. Whenever I hit with it, I thought it felt really, really smooth. So let's hit the court, and we're gonna show you how to make your backhand bulletproof. All right, so just like our first couple days, we showed you how simple fixes can help you avoid the power and spin leaks that you're experiencing on the court. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna work on the one-hand toss and backhand. Now, if you have a two-hand toss and backhand, you can go below this video and you can find a full tutorial with 5 steps to a perfect ATP backhand on the two-hander. But for our one-handers, I call this first power leak Continental Curl. So it's for people who are maybe a little more old school and they used to hit their toss and backhand like John McEnroe. John McEnroe would be the perfect example. He hit all his shots with a Continental grip, which I love the Continental grip, but when you're trying to hit topspin, it's really hard because you can see it puts your wrist in a really weak position. So your ball tends to fly. It's really hard to add a roll action to the ball. And because of, look at the way my wrist is there at contact. Very, very weak. So it gets very hard to feel the power and get spin. So what we want to do is we want to learn the motorcycle Marcy grip. All right. So we want to get away from Continental Curl. We want to get that motorcycle Marcy grip. And so what is that? I call this the motorcycle grip because we want to think of our racket like a handlebar, and we want to put our knuckles on top. That's going to put us in a power position on contact. All right. This is basically an Eastern backhand grip if you don't know how to find it. So you look at the bevels up here and you put your knuckles on top right there. And when you go to hit the ball, you're gonna find that you're gonna get a lot of power and spin when you hit the ball. So let's take a look at some of these backhands with our new grip. I see is the straight back hack to where you just get your racket tip facing towards the fence. So again, you're gonna have a limited range of motion, no power. You're just gonna be able to like push and hit the ball, and you're not gonna be able to really load and explode and hit your shot. So you see I got my racket straight back and then you hit, and again, you can have some okay shots, but you really can't load up and crush the ball. So what I'm gonna show you as a fix, the simple fix is called the power pull, which I'll show you right here next. All right, so if you want to hit more powerful backhands than you ever have, you want to get good at the power pull. I ran a clinic in Cincinnati a month ago. There was only one young lady in the group who did the power pull. She had the best backhand by far. And that is the ability to get your strings to face towards the back fence, okay? If you watch Roger Federer, you watch Dimitrov, you watch Stan Wawrinka, all the best one-handers in the world, their strings actually face to the back fence. The racket butt kicks out to the side fence. By doing that, now you're gonna be able to use this leverage here and pull and really get a lot of nice spin and power. So I'm gonna show you this drill where basically what I want you to do is with your offhand, just make sure that you have it facing towards the back fence. Your dominant hand is going to be either lightly gripping the racket or touching it, or you can even sometimes have your hand off of it and as the ball is coming. So I recommend you have someone hand feed you or get a ball machine that's just basically hand feeding you, so you can really practice grabbing onto the racket when it's time and then pulling that backhand. And you're going to see that you're going to get a lot of topspin on the ball for free, and you're going to get some nice power as well. Okay, so that's the topspin. Now, whether you have a one-hander or two-hander, you want a slice. And the main leak that I see that's killing slice backhands, I call it the open edge contact point. And that is, you want to think about these two parts of your racket as the edge. And the bottom edge, when it opens up, you end up having the ball float and flutter. That's why it's bad. You don't want an open edge when you're hitting. Watch how these balls float when I open up my racket face too early. And what happens is so many people are elbowing their shot rather than using their shoulder. So when you elbow your slice, you open up the edge and you end up hacking the ball. So this is what you don't want to do. Watch the racket face as it makes contact here with an open edge. And again, this happens most of the time because people throw their elbow at the slice, right? So you're throwing your elbow at the slice and the ball is taking off. So we want to learn, how can we learn how to have better contact and close the edge up so we're not having all these balls hack and float on us. So the fix is actually called the perfect Pete, okay? And I wish that I was talking about myself as being the perfect Pete, but what we're actually looking at is being Pete Sampras, okay? Pete Sampras had one of the best forehand and backhand volleys in the history of tennis, and he made really good clean contact. So as I'm hitting this volley, what I don't want the racket to do much is move. I want to keep the racket still and block it and keep that racket nice and stable. This is the contact point that you want to have for your backhand slice, okay? So you see I'm hitting it, and then after I hit, not much is happening. I'm trying to get that perfect Pete volley. Okay, so now we have a good contact point with a perfect Pete for that slice backhand. The next thing you're going to incorporate, I call it Novak's violin. This year is really cute. Novak would win matches and then he would play the violin for his daughter, right? Because she's into music. So this is going to put you into a power position. What we want to do is pretend that our racket here is a violin and we're putting the racket up here like we can go to sleep on it. And the racket, but again, is jutting towards the backside fence. This is going to put us in a power position. And then the key is, again, don't release with the elbow. You're going to release with the hip and the shoulder, a nice long release. So we're coming here. We want to make that perfect Pete contact, and then we want to stay on the same side of our body as long as we can, and then finish. And since we're in Coke country, I like to pretend that at the end of my shot, I can serve somebody a can of Coca-Cola, all right? So that's what I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to get into the Novak's violin position. I'm going to try and make a perfect Pete contact, run it out as long as I can, and then serve somebody a Coke. Let's see how it goes. The ball is like kicking out. There it is. That's a good one.
Nice shot!
Okay, so what a fun day. I really love this Pure Drive. Now, one thing about technology is it does get outdated. Andre Agassi was asked to compare his generation to the current generation. And I consider Agassi to be modern tennis. That's how old I'm getting. But he said, you know, you really can't compare the two because the technology in the rackets and strings have changed so much. So if you feel that your racket is a little bit outdated and you need an upgrade, make sure you go to tennisexpress.com. Try out their demo program, guys. There's not many things you can do in the world where you can basically try it out. You just put like a down payment of $25 down, and that goes towards your racket, and you get to try a bunch of different rackets and figure out which one that you fell in love with. So I hope you really enjoyed this Power and Spin Challenge. Also, make sure that you check out TennisCon 8th this year, because we're gonna have 40 of the best coaches on the planet helping you bulletproof your game, showing you the secrets to success, as well as Tennis Express is gonna be there. So make sure you click the link and sign up so you get your free ticket early, and I'll see you guys on the next video.